Inravio.com. Inravio.com.
And welcome to the weekly show. I am Chuck.
And Bonnie.
We have a great show set up for you today. We're going to have Joe Larsen, author. He's got 2 books out now. He's got a third one that's going to be coming out. And we also have musician Dave Diamond. He's played with a lot of people. He's a very busy man. He's been playing all over Long Island. He's got a whole tour set up, and I'm sure he's going to be coming to your town soon. So we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back right after this.
This is Joe Larsen. You should check out the 505 on Racing Show live every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or catch us on video on demand anytime, 24/7, only on the Inravio TV network.
Village Music Shop of Mastic, 1-800-HEY-DUDE, your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
And welcome back to the weekly show. So we're here today with Joe Larsen. He's got 2 books out, and he's got a third one coming out. Now, Joe, when you started writing these books, did you come up with an idea on what you wanted to write? I know it's kind of about racing, but it's not about racing.
You know, initially, and a lot of people don't understand this, the first book, A View from the Ramp, I had written a guest column for Area Auto Racing News called The View from the Ramp.
Okay.
As the head official at the Riverhead Raceway.
It seems like a good
Yeah,
time.
you know, that's where I observed the races from, and I had no intentions of writing this book. It was by accident. I was seeing a train for a professional talking about what I didn't like about racing. So she said to me, on an index card, write what you don't like about racing, write what bothers you about racing, and come next week, we'll talk about it. So I came in with a shoebox full of index cards, I kid you not, and she looked and she goes, you didn't take this serious. I said, yeah, I did. That's why there's a whole box. So we went through all over the weeks and weeks and weeks, and then she said to me, joking around, why don't you put these in some kind of order and write a book? So I did. And here we go.
And that's where the book came from.
It took like 2 years to write that first. I had no idea how to write a book, you know.
Sure, sure.
And you write what you feel, what you write, you say, and I was lucky enough that the first publishing company that I sent it to bought it.
Wow.
So basically, it was a journal.
Yeah, it was, but it encompassed 70 years. It was done in a flashback mode. You're this age now, and then you flash back, and you come back to that age again. The second book, A View from the Crossroads, same premise, same characters, but a new main character interacting with the other characters. And that took me about 2 months to do.
That was easy.
That was easy.
Because you already got the first one out
The
of
first
the way.
one out of the way, that was the hardest.
So that was the hardest one.
That was the hardest. I got 2 more coming out this year. One will be out sometime in June, end of June. That'll be A View from the back seat, and that's not what it sounds like from the back seat, and A View from the inside. But The View from the back seat is about being a kid when you were growing up in your parents' car. You sat in the back seat. There was no car seats. There was no seat belts.
You sat in a rumble seat in the back by the window,
Yeah, and
looking the wrong way.
looking backwards.
You had a totally different vacation than everybody else.
Yeah, as a kid sitting in the back seat, all you saw was the sky and the clouds because you were little. And the view never changed. It was always the same. So I thought that when you got in the car with your parents were, where do you want to go? Oh, we're going to go here. Okay. And they'd start the car, put it in gear, wait a few minutes, and you were at that spot. I thought we magically got there. I didn't know. And I wrote about that in the book. And then now you fast forward like 30 years, and there's a little kid in the car seat, except I'm the dad. But the character is the dad.
Right, the characters.
And we had fun. I had fun with that.
So you're writing about a little bit of everything.
A little bit.
It's almost like personal experiences.
Yeah, and it always has to do with that character, that main character, and how racing has affected his life and the people around him.
So even in the third book.
Even in the third and in the fourth.
And in the
The
fourth.
fourth is A View from the Inside. It's about a racer who had a great job, affluent community, and tons of money, loses his job. He still has that desire to race. He had the best of everything, and he becomes a professional thief. And that's how he fuels and pays for his racing habit, being a professional thief. So
Wow.
we write about how
Almost like it's addiction.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
for race car drivers,
It
it's
is.
kind of an addiction.
As you know.
I mean, there's people that don't have 2 nickels to rub together, but they're out there at the track on Saturday with a car.
with the car, new tires, fuel, everything.
How does that work out?
Yeah, it's just how it is. And I put that in that book, A View from the Inside, because now he's in prison, sitting in his jail cell. He's on the inside now. And he's looking back, what got him there? And he'd get out and go back in, get out, go back in. And then finally he found, without giving away the whole ending, he finds somebody that kind of straightens him out a little bit. So that had a happily ever after ending.
Okay. Sooner or later, you find somebody's going to take a chance on you, smack you around a little bit and straighten you out, and then you're back at the racetrack.
And you're
on
back at the
Saturday.
racetrack, you know. The racetrack it's a place where families go. Some of your best friends are at the racetrack. You meet people that you never knew before, and they're closer to you than sometimes your own family because they're there. They're in your race shop. They're driving back and forth. They're at the track when you're racing. When you wreck it, they're helping you put it back together, giving up their time. We know the local track. Nobody gets paid to work on your car to fix it with you. You know, nobody gets paid. You buy them a sandwich once in a while, give them a beer at the end, and they're all happy.
And that's it. And they'll spend 40 hours working on your car.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it was all good.
It's a totally different atmosphere there. That's for
It
sure.
is. You know, I've been involved in this sport for over 40 years in some capacity, whether crewing for somebody, driving, owning, officiating. And I met a lot of nice people along the way. And you don't forget certain things, the good and the bad. But when you look back, the good kind of filters to the top.
Yeah, you think about the good stuff, not as much as the bad. But,
Exactly.
you know, I mean, we met at the rastrack.
We did.
And that was 30
It was
some odd years ago,
It was
right?
over. It was like 25 years ago.
Yeah,
Maybe, no, yeah, it's like over 25 years ago.
over 25 years, almost
Yeah.
30 years ago.
Yeah, back when I was with Tony Urbina and those guys.
That's right. Yeah.
You know?
I remember now, so now you host one of the shows on the Inravio TV network.
Yep.
5 or 5 on racing show,
Yeah.
which makes sense because you're involved in racing, you're an official and all of that stuff. And I remember I called you up, I said, Joe, listen, I need somebody to do a racing show. He says to me, when do you want me there?
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it is. You know, the friendship that we developed over the years, and you know, I like when you tell that story about when you're away on vacation and the water's flowing out of your
I'll
place
tell that
sometimes.
story to you.
But then we find out that, you know, Bonnie's uncle married my aunt. And, you know, we were at the same wedding.
And it's a small world.
It is, you know? Yeah, it's a small
It's
world.
a small world. Well, I mean, it's just, it's you don't know how, even though the people that you meet at the racetrack, you sometimes don't know what the extended family are.
Right.
You know what I mean? And how they all interrelate. And then, you know, lo and behold, we go to a wedding, you go to a wedding, and it turns out we're their same wedding.
Yeah.
And it turns out you guys are related. Yeah. And you never knew that. So how does that work out?
It's like 10 years later, you find out. Oh,
You
wow.
don't know.
Yeah. It's good. And, you know,
I mean, those are the things that make life.
Exactly. And then I remember when I was racing, I was one of the top runners, but I was there, it was like the golf game. You go, you have a good time, you go home. And you took it very serious. And I can remember that you would put like maybe 34, 40 laps on your tires and throw them in the tire pile. And I'm like, I'm digging through the tire pile with my buddy Sean, you know. And finally I said, just take them. and it just developed. And, you know,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know me for quite some time now, for almost 30 years, and you know me from racing, and you know that there's nothing that I do that I don't give 120%.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, when I was racing, I had the biggest race shop.
Yeah.
I was the envy of most of the guys. Yeah. I had the biggest sponsors. I had the best equipment. You know, we had the best crew. You know, we went out and got the best cars. Yeah. I mean, we gave it 110%, and that's what we did.
I remember when I first became a part of your race shop over there in Copiague, and you said to me, I have just about every tool. I says, oh, okay, good. You go, no, in fact, I have every tool. In fact, if I don't have that tool, it's not invented yet. You said that to me. And you did.
That's very true. I mean, you know, I want to make sure that I give everybody the best possible chance to succeed. I mean, and some of the guys that we worked with, I mean, you know, look at Tony Urbina now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's down south now. He's working with the Winston Cup or Sprint Cup guys now. I mean, John Farino that worked with me, he's down there. He just won the Daytona 500 with his team. And, you know, and these are guys we worked with. We taught them how to do these things.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a great thing. We don't have any more crew guys up here now because we taught them everything. They went down south, but still, you know. But I remember, I'll relate a story. We had the race shop in Copiague, and I was away on vacation. And your buddy Sean, which we didn't know was your buddy Sean at the time, he calls up my house and leaves a message. My mother gets the message. And I call her, you know, she didn't call me. I called her to see how she was doing because I didn't hear from her. She goes, somebody called here. They said they know you. His name is Sean. That's all she told me. And there's water coming out of the back door of the shop. So meanwhile, what shop is it? We've got Copiague, we've got Babylon, we had studios, we had stores, we had, you know, tons of shops, right? So, and you were at home, you were laid up because you had just gotten into an accident in a race car.
Bad wreck, yeah.
You got in a bad wreck. You got tapped in the middle of the X during the figure 8 race and got knocked unconscious, slammed on the gas, and went head on into the wall. And you wound up being, I think you were airlifted, right? They had to cut the car out and airlift you to Stony Brook, and it turned out you had, you know, some other issues, but you broke your ankle and whatnot.
Basically, my foot was in my lap.
Yeah,
Right
it was
there,
it was bad. It was broken up pretty good. So I call up Joe, knowing there's nobody else that's got a key to this place because my brother's not around, and I say, Joe, I says, listen, I don't want to ask you this, but can you get somebody to go over to the shop in Copiague just to check? Because it's wintertime and there's water coming out of the shop. Did a pipe break? You know, we had studios in there. What kind of damage we got? Joe says, I'll go. I'm like, you sure about this? I'll go. So he's got the cast. He's got the crutches. He gets in the car with a clutch. And he's driving in a snowstorm to get to Copiague. He gets there, and then I didn't realize till afterwards that he had a key to the door, but he didn't have a key to the gate, the 6-foot-high gate, to get to the race car shop, to the door. So he throws the crutches over the 6-foot fence, climbs over the fence with the cast on, down the other side, and now it's snowing, it's icy, there's water coming out of the door. He has to crawl up the ramp because it's an incline to get to the race car shop, and he can't do that with the crutches. So he's crawling up the ramp. He gets there, gets in the door, he gets the phone, he calls me. So now he's got to go up onto the loading dock. He's got to climb up the ramps to get to where the water shut-off is. He gets up there, and I'm like, Joe, you got to make sure that the thing is perpendicular with the pipe. He goes, okay. He goes, all right, I found it. It's perpendicular with the pipe. I said, well, it can't be. That means it's off. He goes, no, it's perpendicular to the pipe. So lo and behold, we find out that 5 minutes before Joe got there, my brother was there and shut the water off. So now Joe did this for nothing, but now he had to go all the way back because he still didn't have a key to the gate. So he had to do everything in reverse, crawl down the ramp.
Getting down was easy.
Down was easy. Yeah. And then lock the door, crawl down the outside in the snow and the ice, throw the crutches over and only a true friend would do that. Throw the crutches back over the fence, drive back home with 1 foot, clutching all the way.
Yeah.
Remarkable.
That's what you do.
That's what you do.
You know?
That's what we do.
That's what we do.
So now, how many more of these books you got?
I've got 9 written, including these 2. Like I said, the end of June, the other one will come out. Yeah, this month, we're in June. And September, the 4th one will come out. And then sometime in like January, February, we'll have number 5.
So now you change the names to protect the innocent in there.
Well, you know, it's
Kinda.
It's fiction. It's a fictional story.
Fictional story.
And a lot of stuff's embellished, but it's
There's some similarities.
exactly. It's like Law and Order. You know, any people or places, you know, is coincidental, but it's based on real happenings. I mean, you know, the main character, he's not 70 years old yet, and the other main character, he doesn't have like 2 kids, you know, but you make it from real stuff. You know, fiction is based on reality. You know, you just embellish it a little bit. And I change names and create names, and people try to figure out who's who, and sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not.
I noticed that, because I know that people, they call in and they talk about the book sometimes, and is that supposed to be about this guy, about that guy?
Yeah, yeah. Like Walt Edsel, the late Walt Edsel. We all remember Walt Edsel.
Right.
In the book, his character is Eddie Walters. Real simple,
Yeah.
you know. But he's a good guy.
But some people are not happy about their character, is that right?
Only if they have a guilty conscience about some of the things they may or may not have done. But that is, I wouldn't say I got threats. I just got these, I'm not happy about that, man. What do you see yourself there? It's just a coincidence. You know?
See, I'm looking forward to it. I'm reading these books going, which one's me? Which one's me?
I don't even go there.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. I don't care. Write me bad. It doesn't matter.
You know? My cousin, Freddie Kraft, he works for Rouse Racing. And in book 1, he's a character based on him. And I said some things. He was going to be a spotter and travel. And lo and behold, he becomes a spotter on the tour. In the second book, a character based on him becomes a spotter for a fictional racing called Jackie Rush Racing.
And he works for Jack Roush.
Now he works with Jack Roush for Greg Biffle as a spotter, top notch.
Wow.
And every time he sees me, he goes, I don't want to see me dead in any of your books there.
What's coming next?
No? But it just seems like whatever I wrote about him or his character based on him is happening to him.
Seemed to work out.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of freaky.
Okay, so write me really good.
Really good, really good.
Really good about me.
You know? Nice television network, you know, one of the big
I
five.
don't know, something. Put something in there.
But no, it's
A yacht with 2 helicopters, I don't know, something.
I mean, it's writing these things is like therapy. You get a lot of stuff off
Yeah,
your chest.
you get it off your chest. Yeah,
Get
it's
it
like
off your chest,
like
you get
writing
it.
a journal and you
Yeah.
just put it into a book.
You know.
I thought about that.
You know.
I don't have the time.
You know, it's funny. I didn't think I did either. But then when I retired from UPS, with like those 3 years that I did nothing, I was writing.
perfect, yeah.
I was writing. It was perfect. And now the problem is my hands are in so many things. I don't have the time that I used to have. Because you do a rough draft, then you clean it up, and then I send it to a person who reads it and looks for continuity. What happened to this character? You know, stuff that I figured, this character wasn't in the beginning, and now they're with it, and I look back, I changed the name a second time, you know. So she's good at that. Then it goes to a first edit, and it gets sent back to me. Then it goes to a final edit, it gets sent back. The old red pen thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't have the time for. That's why there was such a delay between 1 and 3 and 4. So That's why that was a delay. But
Well, she's a copywriter. That's what she does, right?
basically what she does
Copy
that
checker.
for me. Yeah. And she's not a professional, so she doesn't do the grammar and the editing for that stuff. She just looks for the story. Is it going the way it's supposed to go?
Continuity,
Did I go
yeah.
backwards? Is stuff overlapping? And she catches some
That's good.
stuff, you know. She really does. And then there was another person that would read. They read the second book for me while it was still in a manuscript. And there was a scene in there, or written, where the man next door went to the woman's house, had coffee to talk to him about letting their son go to the races with him. And she said, "This is 1965, man." That she was, no guy would go into somebody's house with the wife and just have coffee. He wouldn't do that. That wouldn't be acceptable.
So like a fact checker, too.
So I had to add that him and his wife went next door to talk. And things I didn't think about it. And Reverend Dan from the Race with Jesus Ministries, him and I were talking about it, and there was a scene where the guy and a woman were getting intimate, and they went into the bedroom, and I was kind of graphic about what went on, and he said, "No, stop it here." They shut the door. Next chapter. I said, "Why?" Because everybody's going to imagine what went on in there, but they're going to imagine what they would have done.
Right.
And that's going to be different for everybody.
And it won't bother anybody by whatever
Exactly.
seems
So
to happen.
that's what we did. So
Yeah.
you do
Those
stuff.
are all good things.
Yeah.
So it's a learning process besides, because
Oh, yeah.
really this is the first couple of times you wrote a
Yeah.
book.
Yeah. It's fun. It's a labor of love now. You don't make a lot of money. People think I made all these hundreds of thousands of dollars. Because you can go to websites and see how many copies it sold. And the deal I had to make for this one, I'm a new guy. Nobody wants to take my book. The publisher's trying to sell it. I'm trying to sell it. And Barnes & Noble was nice enough to take it in. And they got the book for 55% off cover price. So for round numbers, it's $27.95. So we'll call it $28. 55% off cover price is like $12.50. It cost $11.80 to print. So we're talking like 90 cents, split 4 ways.
Right.
We sold 30,000 copies. Okay, so I got like 27 cents on each
So
copy.
you had a trip to McDonald's. Now, how many copies did you make?
Well, it was a print on demand. That's the new way in printing and publishing. It's print on demand. This way you're not storing it. You're not having a warehouse.
Right, sure.
And they got to go
More
find it
cost.
in a warehouse. It's print on demand. And I think this one sold like 35,000 copies.
Nice.
Yeah. The second one sold a little bit more, but it was half the price because the first one's hardcover with a dust jacket, and the other one is like a hard softcover. So, and it's on Kindle, ebook.
Right.
So, and now we got away from Barnes & Noble because we didn't make any money with them, and it's through Amazon now. So,
Nice.
yeah.
So people can get it through Kindle and Amazon.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah.
Makes it a little bit more cost effective that way, too.
It
for you.
does, and the ebooks. I actually make more money on the ebooks because there's no cost really.
No printing
Right.
cost. Yeah.
No printing cost.
Makes more sense.
And make it make a little bit more money. But
People tend to like that. They like to
Yeah.
have it on their on the tablet so they can read it when they want. They can have it. They can keep it. It's on not on the unless they want it for furniture in the house. But
right. And it's hard to sign
doesn't
an
have
ebook and a book's on.
Right. Yes.
take a magic mark and slide across their tablet.
I think what they told me to do, that somebody made a photocopy of one of the covers and I had them sign.
And sign it.
Okay, good.
There you go.
And I've had a couple of those, and
Make
it's
it
pretty
nice,
interesting.
yeah.
So
Okay.
it's good.
So what's the next step? You going to have another book signing soon, or?
No, well, we're going to push and market the next one that's coming out. We're going to do it a little bit differently. The publishing company, PK Books, is my publisher. The founder and president of PK Books has stepped away to do other things. He has his own projects going on. So we're going to do things a little bit different for this one. We're going to market it. We're going to put it out there. We're going to do a lot of giveaways and do a lot of signings all over the place and try to get some racetracks to let me come in and do that. So we'll see what happens with that.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Same thing with the fourth book. And, it's a fun thing. It's just fun. And I remember I was working a race in Martinsville as an official. Go back to the hotel that night, that afternoon, I should say. And we're going to go out by the pool. We're going to walk through our pool area, check the sights out, check the water, whatever. And there's a woman sitting in the lounge chair reading my book.
How cool is
And I
that?
I was like, oh man, and this is all new to me. And the guy I'm with, he goes, Go tell your mother. She's not going to believe me. He goes, dude, your picture's in there. She's not going to believe me. I'm not going to do it. And I didn't. It was a missed opportunity. I should have.
You should have.
Look at me. Now I have no problem. And I'm signing. I was, I have a TV show too.
Tune in.
Well, I think the first time you run into somebody like that, you're probably going, what if I go, what do you think of the book? She goes, God, it's terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. There's always that
That fear.
fear, yeah.
I used to bring it on the plane and pretend to be reading it. Some guy would next to me say, "Oh, is that a good? Yeah, it's a good book. Oh, how is that? That's me. Oh, So I used to carry a couple with me. He's like, whatever.
Sell them.
Yeah.
I'll give you $3 off the cover price right now.
I know.
But wait, there's
buy them
more.
both. Yeah,
Wait,
buy them
there's
both.
more. If you want to buy for the family, I'll give you a pack.
There you go. But, and all the titles are a view from. There's a view from the ramp, view from the crossroads, view from the inside, view from the back seat, got a view from the window, a view from the front office. So,
Okay.
and it's just the view of that guy. The View series, as we're going to call it.
The View series. So I have to start making some. A made for Inravio show for that.
Yeah, if you were going to make one of the 9 into a movie, which one would be the best
View
one?
from the ramp.
The ramp would be the best one.
Yeah.
The first one.
Okay.
We started a screenplay, writing a screenplay for it.
Nice.
And we had a screenwriter helping out with that, and then he kind of just fizzled away. We did think about doing that. And him and I, we sat down one day. The opening of what we wanted to do was exact, because he had his idea and I had my idea, and we're going to make outlines. Because, it's 300 pages, it spans 70 years, you got 90 minutes in the movie. The ending was exactly the same. It was like, wow. The middle was, and I'm arguing my case of why this has to be in, and he's arguing it. And finally, he slams the book on the table, and he goes, the director's going to do what he wants to do anyway. Oh. Okay. And we were trying to sell the screenplay. We were pushing it. The other ones, it would be hard to make, maybe not. Maybe like A View from the Crossroad would make a good Lifetime movie, maybe. But The View from the Ramp, people would be on the seat. They'd be on the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of symbolism in there, a lot of spirituality in there.
Yeah, that's good. We'll have to see. Maybe.
Yeah, you never know.
Maybe we can make it happen.
Starring
Kyle Melnick.
You
You never know.
But introducing Kyle Manning, because he wouldn't be
you
a
go.
star yet. Yeah, well, we good. Our producer.
Oh, he's already a star.
He's a good guy.
He's a star to us. He's our star.
Yeah, but it's even doing that. I didn't realize when you write a script that
There's a lot involved.
you got to put like the clock in the back says 2:10 or whatever. You have to have that stuff, and there's no like. The actors are going to add it, but you have to put down, and they have to scratch and it's all in print. I'm like,
There's
wow,
a lot of stuff. Yeah.
a lot of stuff in there.
Takes that 300 pages and makes it 3,000 pages.
It does. It really does. And then we're trying to figure out who's going to play, the main character, and who's going to play other characters. That was fun, But then we were trying to find a racetrack that we could do the race sequences from. So that was another. Because now you're trying to get all this stuff in place. Even though there's property people that do that, but I wanted it filmed on Long Island. I wanted the money to stay here, jobs, and here I was. I just had my first book published. And I'm telling them what I want. What are you gonna do? If you don't ask, you don't get.
I'm funding it with my 27 cents.
That's right. My cut.
I got my 27 cents coming right in here.
That's right. Yeah, you get a royalty check for like 54 cents. What is this? Okay, let's put that to the side until we need it.
Well, it's the labor of love, like you said.
It is, and
And everybody's got a story out there to tell, but you're hoping that your story's better than most.
yeah, you got to put it on paper.
Yeah.
Just put it on paper. Like I said, that my publisher wanted me to write a book about because of 50 Shades of Grey that was out, and because sex sells, supposedly. He wanted me to write a book called A View from the Lobby. It was about a race official who traveled all over the world, but he had a different person in every city. And I said, I can't do that. He goes, why not? Because what I write, people realize I might have done those things. I don't want them to think I did those things.
Right.
Some people think that already, so, but that's okay. But,
Well, you do have to write what works for
exactly, and that don't work for me. That didn't work for me. He's still pushing it, even though he's not in charge of the publishing company anymore. But he's still pushing that, so we'll see.
That's good. Well, on the host side for the show, you had 250 shows that you did on the Inravio TV network.
Yeah.
That's a lot of shows.
A lot of shows. There's people in Inravio that have more than me, but I kind of played with it a little bit, you know. Let's draw some interest. Wow, 50 shows. Oh, it was never going to last. 100 shows, 250 shows is a lot.
That's a lot of shows.
A lot of shows. And you know, Roger Oxy, late model driver here on Long Island, guy lives in upstate New York, drives down to do the anniversary show 2 years in a row. You know, and works all day, drives down here, and then drives all the way back afterwards. And you know, that's a testament.
That is. And Mike came from Manhattan.
Yeah, from Manhattan.
He lives in Manhattan?
He works in Manhattan. And he got stuck with traffic and getting out later than he thought, and it's... But, you know,
Well, you have a good core group of people that really support the show.
I do.
And that's important. I
Yes.
mean, you know, you got Marty Himes and you got all of those guys over there, and you do. You have a lot of people that support the show, and that's great.
And you know, it's having Bob Fine on the show that night. You know, the PR director here on Long Island for Riverhead Raceway, and that was big. I got a lot of people who say, "Hey, you know what? For him to come on that," and I'm sure that the powers to be said, "Hey, go out, go do it," and because after they watched, you know, a couple of dozen shows to make sure we're not track bashing, but when he came on that show, and it was, I call it a blessing in disguise that the other two guys were late. Because we got to talk just one-on-one
Yeah, it
about
worked out nice.
what's going on. And it worked out very nice. But, you know, Marty Himes, who's saving every race car part since Ben
beginning
Hur
of
race.
time.
Yeah.
Since Jesus was racing.
You know, and you know, and like I said with Walter, you know, Walter Johnson, like Derek Jeter, Bob Shepard had announced him years after he had passed. And Walter will never miss an anniversary show as long as I'm able to do it, because the guy was a good friend to me. He was a good friend to the show, even though he was a pain in the neck sometimes, you know. And I said at his eulogy, he was our biggest fan, but he was our biggest critic. And sometimes you need that, you know, somebody that can give you that reality check. Sometimes he was a pain in the neck about it, you know, as you well know.
As I well know.
But that was him. And if he didn't like you, didn't care about you, he wouldn't have said nothing. He'd have just stopped watching. And you know, he had the ultimate respect for you guys for what you do at Inravio. So that was good. You know, he'll be missed, but he'll always be a part of the show.
I think about him a lot.
Yeah. There's one of our chat room people that always says, "God bless WJ," after everybody else says good night or goodbye in the chat room, and he writes, "God bless WJ."
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and I didn't notice it at first, and then he said it. He said to me, I talked to him on the phone, and he says, "I always say that." And I watch, and he does. He waits for everybody else to, good night, good night, good night, good night, you know, goodbye, see you next week, and he writes that.
Wow.
So, yeah, so he touched a lot of people. He touched a lot of people.
Yeah, no, he was definitely part of the landscape, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I'm glad Mike Jarwicki took over myracenews.com, and he's taken it to the next level, levels that Walter could not have done.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know.
he's very nice. Mike's a very nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, all over going to the tracks, the Spring Cup Series tracks, he has staff at all these tracks. He has photographers. Walter didn't have that. He had his couple little tracks that he went to, and he did his thing on the internet, you know, myracenews.com, and it worked for him. And it worked for him. And it got him to go to races and write, and he just wrote who, what, when, where, and how. Never influxed how he felt or his opinion. Went to the racetrack, this is what happened, this is who won. Period. And that's why the racetracks liked him.
He was impartial.
He was
Exactly.
a true journalist.
He was. He was a true journalist. And Jaws, as they call him, is writes in the same mold.
That's
Yeah.
good.
You know, so it's like Walter's still there. It really is.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you for doing everything you do with the Inravio TV network,
My pleasure.
and congratulations on the books.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great job.
Thank you.
And, you know, I hope we're around for another 30 years.
Hey, you never know. I'll be like Walter Cronkite, you know. But no, it's good
Good night
night.
and have a pleasant tomorrow.
Yeah, but I thank you guys for the opportunity. I know, you know, when we first came to do that, when I first came, and Henry was here, and I was like, I don't know this guy, you know. I hope this works out. We'll try it for a little while. And here we are. So thank
So,
you.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, yes it was. But my pleasure.
But thank you very much. You've always been a great friend. You've always trusted me and seemed to work out.
Yeah, hey, you know, you got to put trust in somebody.
That's it.
Anyway.
All right, we'll be back right after this announcement.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
And welcome back to the weekly show. So we're going to shoot to Daryl Strawberry.
Very
I think,
special surprise. Boy, you just kind of spit it out, don't you?
right? Spit it out.
We got very special surprise. This is not something that happens every day.
I know.
We got an interview with Daryl Strawberry.
Daryl Strawberry. Not only was he on the Mets, but he was on the Yankees too.
Yes,
But Mets fans hold him dear.
That's
He
right.
is a Met. And he said that. He said, I'm a Met. That's what he said.
And our own Bruce and Disco actually got to do the interview. And did you hear what Bruce said after?
What part?
He said, I could die happy now.
Yeah. He's like, what I said to him, I said, Bruce, do you want to do the interview? If I have time. I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it. And
Yeah, right.
his brother said to me he would have crawled on his hands and knees to get there if he had to.
I'm sure he would have.
Made his life, he said.
Yes.
That's what his brother Tony said.
Hi, this is Bruce and Disco from the Inravio TV network, the Glory Day show on Saturday mornings, and we're here with Daryl Strawberry today. Daryl, thanks for taking the time with us today.
All right, guys, thanks. It's great to be here.
We wanted to ask you a little bit about the mission and what you're here for today.
Well, we're here to serve people. We're here to help people understand that God is important and that their life is important, their life matters. Across America, we have a serious problem with addiction. We have young people dying daily, and we think it's not in our community, it's everywhere. Heroin addiction is swept across America, and we need to get back to the biblical principles. We need to get back to what is real, what works, and I think we've gotten away from it. We've gotten away from educating our kids on drug addiction, alcoholism, and we've forgotten, taking out of the schools, taking God out of the school for the kids. And I think it's a real struggle, and I think the enemy's on the prowl, and he's destroying so many young people's lives.
What are we going to talk to them about today?
We're going to talk to them about, faith, having faith and belief in Christ. I think so many people have gotten away from the faith foundation and the principles of what we were founded on, and the biblical principles. I think it's been put on the back burner because nobody wants to talk about it. I talk about it. God changed me, God saved me, and I talk about it, and I get my point across. I go across America. Those that don't want to hear it, they shouldn't show up, because I'm going to talk about Jesus. It's not about me, it's what he's done in my life and how he's transformed my life. And the same for these young people that I see coming in my treatment center. It's a revolving door for suburban kids coming into treatment. I've been up and running for 2 years, and I've had over 1,000 people in my treatment center already. And so we got a major problem when we need to focus on and get back to the principles and educating young people again.
And it's wonderful to see somebody like you doing this.
Well, that's what it's really about. It's about the purpose of life and why we're here. One thing I do know is we can't stay here. So what are we doing? How are we making a difference? Are we just talking? Are we being a soundboard? Or are we actually out there getting in action and doing it? So many people are sitting around and saying we have a problem. Well, if we all get up and do something, we can change the problem.
You've got a lot of people that'll be here today. Obviously, a lot of kids. Some of them know who you are. Some of them don't know who you are. What kind of how do you try to get them not to do this? Just saying no doesn't work.
No, I mean it's about the education part of getting them to know who they are and getting them to know the purpose of their life. There's a destiny for their life if they can have someone help them find that destiny. They can't find it themselves. The kids. Too many of us look at what we do and don't understand that there's a real purpose in our life, and we don't know it until we come to Christ. And you don't realize what's really important. It's more than just being a baseball player. It's becoming a man. It's becoming a man to do things to make a difference in others' lives. And just like you guys, it's the same for you. You have that opportunity to make a difference in someone else's life.
Wow.
That was great.
Yeah.
It's great to see that he turned his life around and that God helped him, and he's doing some great work.
I just find it amazing that his life has changed as much as it has. He went from just a regular guy to this famous baseball player to a drug addict to a baseball player to a drug addict to a minister. It's this wide range. I mean, most people don't change their life that much.
Well, you never know where you're going to wind up, and sometimes it's just you wind up where you need to be. And I think it's perfect timing, especially with that all the drugs and heroin especially, and things that are happening across at least the Long Island, and I'm sure across the United States. It's a big epidemic.
It is. It's incredible. I know several people whose children have issues or have died from it.
It's terrible. Or have current issues with it now.
Yes, absolutely.
We know people that are suffering from it and trying to get over it, and I'm sure it's a big thing. So I mean, he's doing a great thing.
Yes, he is.
That was a good interview.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we'll take a quick break. We'll be back with none other than Dave Diamond right after this.
This is Joe Larsen. You should check out the 505 on Racing Show live every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or catch us on video on demand anytime, 24/7, only on the Inravio TV network.
Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE. Your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop. 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com. The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
I feel like such a cool person with that music.
Do you? You grooving?
Yes, I am. It's just so cool.
Well, we're back with another cool person, Dave Diamond.
Absolutely.
So we've been talking to Dave and learned a lot about him.
Yeah.
Kind of tell us some of the stuff. I mean, you've played with so many people. You've been in the business for 20 years, over 20 years now.
Yeah.
And you've really been, musician, songwriter, you drums, guitar,
Mm-hmm.
do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, keeps me busy. Jack of all trades,
Yeah.
master of none.
Hey, so long as you're playing with somebody, you've mastered it already, right?
I'm trying.
So you got a busy summer. I see the dates clicking up there.
Yeah.
Seems like every week you're somewhere.
Yeah, it worked out really nice. As when we were talking before, a couple months ago, my summer was looking a little bare. I was like, what's happening? And all of a sudden, it just kept rolling in, and it's still rolling in. So it's, the family life is interesting, because they're like, hey, what can we do this weekend? Well, I'll be in Chicago, or I'll be in Colorado. But, you carve out the time, too.
Right. I'm going to be in Chemung.
Right. Nice. Nice. I love that place.
So you're still enjoying it, I see.
Yes, very much. It's a way of life. It's pretty much all I know at this point.
Yeah.
Twists and turns, but still on that path.
So what really got you started 20 years ago? What was the band that you like? You heard Angus, playing like, Hell's Bells or something, and that was it. You had the, what was that
Well,
big
what
song?
got me into
What got you
it?
into music, yeah.
Oh, man. I will say it's the Beatles for sure. The first time I saw A Hard Day's Night, and I was like, they were playing, and all the girls were crying, like, I was like, I want to do that.
I want to be that girl crying. I mean, I want to be the guy playing the guitar.
Exactly. I cry in the dark.
We all do. That's nothing new.
There's no shame.
There's no shame to that.
But yeah, it was the Beatles. I mean, the Monkees, Beatles,
The Monkees, yeah.
It's an interesting breed. And then I had older brothers, and they played all the cool stuff. And I said, that's what I want to do.
But you have brothers that play as well, so.
Yeah, older brothers played guitar, bass. There was always a piano in the house. And I gravitated towards the drums. My brothers would have these cheapy drum sets, so I'd get on them, break the really thin heads, always
Yep.
break it. My brothers would be like, Dave broke the drums again. So we had to get a new
Playing
set.
with the drumsticks the wrong way?
Probably.
Holding the tips, right?
Probably.
So that you got a really heavy hit?
Exactly, crushed him. And then, so when I was little, I burned my arm really, really good. I have a nice little scar here. But the doctor said, my mom said, well, he likes to play the drums. And they were like, let him keep playing the drums, like keep enforcing it. Because as the arm was healing, it would keep the motion, and because
Okay.
the scar would be bigger as my arm was tiny. But, they just totally were all about it.
Nice.
And
So you had a prescription to play the drums.
exactly.
That's nice. I don't know how many parents like, oh, it's so loud. Your parents like,
Awesome. My
Go to the
parents were
drugstore and go, I
awesome,
need a
yeah.
pair of 5Bs.
Exactly. So
Put that on my tab.
the house would be a rockin' 24/7.
Yeah. I'm familiar. My brothers played too. So,
Right.
yeah. They always said, when you learn how to play chords, you can play with the band. Of course, they had no intentions of letting me play with the band, but, it was just, that's what they told me to get me to go away.
That's funny. But yeah, my dad would be reading the paper. The house would be vibrating. It's like nothing. Be watching the game. My mom would be reading a book. It was just,
Just playing away. Yeah.
background noise to them.
But that was cool.
Yeah.
And
Blessed.
and you've made so many contacts. What was your favorite tour? What was the favorite people that you liked playing with? I mean, you've played with so many different people. So Bob Weir, you played with Bob Weir.
Yeah. We were, there was a band, the Zen Tricksters. It was a jam band from local Long Island band.
Yep, I remember.
And primarily Grateful Dead cover band. When there wasn't really a lot of Grateful Dead cover bands, there's a lot of them now. But they did originals as well, and I would go see them when I was younger. They were called Volunteers, and then
I saw them as the Volunteers.
and then they morphed into the Zen Tricksters, and then somehow I found my way in there, and we would tour, and we were road dogging it, left and right. Got to see the country, do some great shows, and then years later we had a band with Donna Jean Gottschalk from the Grateful Dead, and that led Tricksters, got Donna Jean, and we did tours a couple of years, and then that led to us playing with Bob at Sweetwater's in Mill Valley. It was like the last night that club was going to be open. It was closing down. He came, he was supposed to do a couple tunes. He wound up playing for an hour and a half with us. So he had a great time.
Cool,
And
just jamming away.
Just jamming away. So that was a good highlight,
Yeah.
playing with him. It's like, I used to go see you when I was 15 at the Coliseum, I'm like, oh, no, I'm playing with you. That's cool. That was a highlight.
Yeah, absolutely. What was some of the other highlights? I know you've played with so many people.
Well, interesting enough, and some people kind of, they're like, you did what? I was in a band called Ed Ryan and the Underdogs. And the Underdogs were kind of like rock band, jammy band, before the term jam band was even around. But with Ed Ryan, became more of a pop band, and we did a tour opening up for Debbie Gibson for like 3 months. And so here we are, this rock band, bunch of deadheads, really. The crew that was working for Debbie Gibson was one of Dan Healy's crew from the Grateful Dead world, Ultrasound. And so you had this underlying Grateful Dead thing in Debbie Gibson world. And then we played 3 nights at Radio City, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
That's
a cool venue, right?
That's a great venue. My buddy was walking down the street. We're going to an after party. He met Tony Bennett on the street.
Wow.
And my friend was like, hey, Tony, we just played Radio City. And he's like, great room. That was only he could say,
That's it.
And
Man, a few words.
yeah. But, just like he would say it. But, yeah, there's a lot of highlights and, a lot of lows, being away from home for a while.
It's tough, right, being on the road?
It is. It's a lot of hurry up and wait,
Yep.
and like,
Get there, set up, and wait.
at some points, maybe like, my wife came out on the road for a little bit, and you're like, great, this is great, and maybe I'm going to stay home.
Yeah.
Because it's you get to the venue and you're like,
I'm familiar, yeah. I spent a lot of time on the road.
and maybe you can go out and see. The bass player from the Zen Tricksters, Cliff Black, he was always good about, we got downtime, let's get out. Let's go do something. Let's go
Right.
see something.
Right. That's great if
Yeah,
you can do that, yeah.
it was good,
Yeah, if you can sound check early and get out and do something, that's great.
Exactly. Instead of sitting in the hotel room. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like to sit in the hotel room and do absolutely nothing. It's downtime.
Yeah.
Downtime.
It's good. Especially when you're home with a 5.5-year-old. There's no downtime.
No,
There's
there's
no
no downtime.
We used to get set up early. We'd come back and it's raining and the roof is leaking on top of your sound equipment, and it's like never left again. Got to protect that stuff.
Oh my God. My brother used to do sound, and I used to help him move the gear. I didn't get paid anything.
No.
But we'd come to clubs out here, and it was like heavy metal land. That's,
Yeah.
that's what I like. When I was younger, Suffolk was like heavy metal world.
Heavy metal land, yep.
And like we'd come
Twisted
roll.
Sister.
Yeah, all these bands and
Vixen.
right, exactly. But the gear, I mean, I have to say the sound systems have pared down now.
Oh, yeah.
But the big, like, it was just like,
The big bins, the big racks. Oh, I have them. I'm familiar.
Driving in my brother's Ford van with it, like the steering was all messed up,
Yep.
getting to the gig.
You're all over the road.
Yeah, all over,
yeah.
you know, cops pulling you over. I'm like, we're fine. I swear. It's the steering.
But those are the fun times.
Yes.
You know, but after a while, it does kind of grate on you, you know. Even when you've got the big trucks and the forklifts and everything else, it's just more equipment to move. And
Yep.
I
You
did that.
pay your dues, right?
Did that for years, yeah.
And you back.
In the beginning, it's fun, you know.
Right. You do it for the glamour.
Do it
That's
for
what
the
I
glamour.
say.
That's it. Hey, when I got the call, I think I was 18, I got the call from Grandmaster Flash to come work with him, and it was great, you know, at first.
Right. Yep. Yep. You know, it depends on how you roll, I guess.
But you meet some characters in the music business, don't you?
Oh, yes. Yep, absolutely. Maybe
So-
get a song out of them, you know.
Maybe
one
get
or
a
two.
song out of it, yeah. So what was the weirdest, funniest time that you had in the music business?
Oh, man. Weirdest.
I mean, there's always somebody that kind of sticks out that does something weird, and you're like, you can't believe that it happened, but it did.
Oh, my God. I don't know if I can narrow it down to somebody.
Without throwing TVs out the window.
Yeah, I mean, there's been times where we've been in hotels and law enforcement, you know, has been knocking on the door.
Yeah.
We were getting too loud, and I'm like, you know, somebody's picking up the phone because the hotel's calling to lower down, and we don't know they're picking up the phone. Like, what? Blah, 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 blah. Shut up, you know, they hang up the phone. I didn't know this was happening. You hear the rap on the door, and you peek through. It's 3 state troopers. You're like,
With the big hats, yeah.
exactly. The whole thing.
Beat it, it's the cops.
Yeah, you know, I just come outside the door like, hi, hi, how can I help you?
Yeah.
You guys are going to bed, right? Yeah, straight to bed.
Straight to bed.
Right, you know, in the middle of Indiana.
Right.
That just, you know, New Yorkers, you know.
Yeah, that's all you got to be, right?
But yeah, you know, I mean, that's one incident. One, you know, getting stuck in the mud with a van, you know, can't get out of the venue. That's always fun. You're there at like
Or you
7 in
can't
the
get
morning.
to the venue. How about that one?
Yeah.
You ever have any trouble getting there?
Oh yeah. Planes, trains, automobiles,
Yeah.
that whole thing.
It's
you
always
know?
great, right?
Yeah. And then when you get there, you got to put on a happy face.
Yeah, if you get there.
If you get there.
We had one, we didn't get there. We tried real hard, we didn't get there.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had that. You've
No,
always
it's
made
good.
it there. Maybe a little late, but
Well, we got there late.
Right.
But it was over when we got there. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it
no,
was
lovely.
Yeah, that was a good one. So what would you say the future holds? Are you going to keep doing the touring thing? Are you going to be doing some more writing? Or what are you thinking?
I will definitely be doing the touring thing and the writing thing. I mean, the new album, Toi, that came out a couple of months ago, we're touring behind that and playing shows behind that. But with the new record, I will get the new live touring band that has been doing the shows. We're going to go in the studio and do that because a lot of the records, I cut a lot of the instruments myself.
Right.
Have some friends come in and play, and some special guests and stuff like that.
You going to do it kind of live, like a jam band type of a thing? Or?
Yeah, that's the plan, to go in.
I see you
in
got that
2 months.
influence, that Grateful Dead influence going on, so that's cool.
Yeah, a little bit of that. My musical, you know, influences are all over the map. It's
Sure. Well,
Kinda
as a
hurts.
musician, you
I
have
noticed when I was looking at what you do, there's the different types of the rock and the punk and the
Mm-hmm.
rap and just everything. I have to ask, what is Laurel Canyon Rhythm?
well, you know, it's like Joni Mitchell
Oh,
and stuff
okay.
like that, and Crosby, Stills and Nash, and you know, the Neil Youngs and stuff like that. And I like to alt tune the guitar, and get a little strummy.
to. Right. You got to spit us out a rhyme for you. Do a rap.
Yeah, no, that's not my. Yeah, when you said rap, I'm like, that would be embarrassing.
Okay,
Well-
so you've worked with a bunch of famous people.
Mm-hmm.
What's the goal now? Who's like the pinnacle? Like
The go-to
I can
get.
I can retire now because I've played with so and so.
Right.
Okay, excellent question. Well, I play with Bobby Weir from the Dead. I want to play with Phil Lesh from the Grateful Dead. That's the goal. That's you know,
That's it. And you got it's a full house.
Yeah, right. It's, you know, can't play with the other guys because I don't want to play with the other drummers. You know,
That's a lot of drummers.
that ain't gonna happen. But yeah, that's you know, it's a nice target list. You know, and I want to play with, Bruce Springsteen or Bono,
And what?
something
It's
like
a
that.
great thing.
If the drum chair opened up in Wilco, I would take that gig as well. So
Sure.
they're a favorite band.
If they're watching. Just
Yeah,
to
exactly.
note to that. Well, Dave, you got a lot of stuff going on, and I can't wait to check out the new stuff that you're going to be coming out with, and I got to catch you on your tour while you're touring.
Yeah.
Please
It's going to
do.
be great. And,
Good luck with your new album.
Thank you very much.
the website. I'm sure they're putting it up on the screen, so we're going to know where to go.
Yes, DaveDiamondMusic.com.
That's
You
right.
get everything there, music, dates,
The whole thing.
yeah, all your
Soup to
Dave
nuts.
Diamond music needs.
Great. I appreciate you coming in, Dave.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks
Enjoyed
for
having
coming,
you on.
Dave. And that's it.
That's it for us. We're out of time.
We're all wrapped up.
Yep.
So until we see you, take care, and we'll see you next week on The Weekly Show.
See you later. Bye.